situation in our family. The cousins, one of our children and one of my relatives' children, they weren't getting along, had a big powwow. Pastor T tried to have a little reconcile meeting, and that turned out bad. So we went down, because my nephew graduated. So we went down, somebody say kingdom-minded. You and I are created to dominate, get this division out of our families, love, overlook insults, stop holding people to stuff that God has forgiven you of, show people mercy because you've extended mercy. That's the kingdom likeness. Let us make man in our image. That means you're a spirit. But let me make them like us, where they love intentionally. They don't love because they are thermometers instead of thermostats. We go down, and it was still a little rocky, a little awkward. Can I preach this? I do need help every now and then. Thank you, Pastor T. So we go down, and the first thing I do, I zero in with the cousin, in this case, not my cousin, my daughter's cousin. And I begin to talk and just have a great conversation. Because you don't realize when there's awkwardness, somebody can eliminate the awkwardness by just doing what God told you to do. I'm telling you, I'm almost sure it grieves God's heart. So many people don't get along. So many people just get so fired up and mad and won't cut people off. The cancel culture. People have done 100 things right for you. They do one thing wrong and you cut them off. You remember all the bad things your mom did? You mean she didn't do anything good? Of course she did. It's the enemy trying to get you to magnify those idiosyncrasies, those deficiencies. Maybe they got saved but never got free. Do you not give them some grace? It don't mean you allow, what they call that, dysfunction in terms of where it impacts you, but you certainly should be able to love, even if it's with boundaries. So we go down, and I'm talking, and I talk, because I learned you overcome evil with good. It's a law. You overcome what? Evil. With what? You got to do something. Y'all got it? You got to do what? You got to do something. So I went and I was aggressive, and you got to be aggressive, because I found out one can slay 1,000, two can slay 10,000. So if Satan, and I'm Satan who rule the world, I don't want any of them getting on same one accord. Because if they get on one accord, there's nothing I can't stop them from doing. I'm talking about Satan. Satan knows if they get on one accord, they can cause stuff to be done that ain't never been done. That's why the word devil in the Greek means, the pronunciation is diabolos, to cast oneself in between two to divide them. How does he divide people? Through lies, innuendos, suspicion, right? People want, the one thing I learned about humans, a human is the only person that'll kill somebody or want them in jail for the very things they've done. When David thought it was somebody else, when the prophet brought it to his attention, when he thought it was somebody else, he said, that person need to die. And then when the prophet said, it's you, he said, Lord, I've sinned against you. Lord, he was ready to kill everybody. And you got to realize that's a fallen tendency in humans. Some stuff you got to let go and forgive people. A lot of times they insult you, it's not even personal. They just are professional insulters. And they just so happen to be in your neighborhood today. And you making it personal. They done insulted everybody's house they've been in. They just a professional insulter. And you done got so bothered by them and let them dictate your whole emotional state. Somebody say, not again. Not again. Somebody say, not again. Not again. So we never really had a conversation as it relates to this get-together with the family. But after my nephew graduated, everybody came back to the house. When we came back to the house, Pastor T and her twin sister, because my niece just pledged Delta. And let me say this for all those that are going to write me letters or leave the church because of fraternity. I've had that before. I've had people come to me. I don't mind. But here's what I want you to know. Your Heavenly Father will allow people to be in different places. The key is, what are you doing if you're a part of these social organizations? Are you bringing light to it? Or are you continuing in the darkness? Our Heavenly Father, Paul was a part of the Pharisees, the Apostle Paul, who were the most antagonizers of Christ. But yet, he pulls them out. And he uses him to write over 2/3 of the New Testament. Moses was raised in Pharaoh's house because God was getting him to understand the language and being comfortable in Pharaoh's house because he knew later on he's going to send him there. So sometimes God is getting you ready in social situations. And don't let people, I've had pastors stand up here and say, man shouldn't be playing football. But when I sow into their life, they receive. Just hypocrisy. I want to tell everybody, and as humble as I can tell you, you can't live long enough to understand everything about God. And you would be foolish to think you do. You would also be foolish to think he works in ways only which you understand. That would be a small, great miscalculation. He works in ways you would never work. He works in ways you would never figure out. Some things ain't your business. You got enough stuff on your plate. The last thing you need to do is be thinking about what God doing. You need to be thinking about what he wants you to do. And pray. Anything else, go just pray for it. Some of y'all done put the world on your shoulders. Talking about you called to the world. You lying joker, you ain't called to the world? If you were called to the world, you'd be Jesus Jr. You ain't Jesus Jr., you called to somebody in the world. So we went down there, and here's how it ended. My niece ended up, Pastor T and her sister, twin sister, they were walking through the house doing a Delta dance. My Pastor T's sister hadn't danced like that in years. We just decided to have a good time. And now, I know you may leave the church. We didn't have a whole bunch of Christian music we were dancing to. We were dancing to some of the clean versions of stuff that you wouldn't listen to. It was one of the best times that we had had in years. And I was just kind of observing because I'm Rev. You know, and Rev is not supposed to be participating in such activities. But when I heard this song, Jeremiah, head, chest, pants, shoes. Head, chest, pants, shoes. Shoulders, shoulders, shoulders. Head, shoulders, chest. I don't even know the words. All I know is we had a good time. All I know is the two who were bickering back and forward were all together again. That's what he's looking for with you Christians who mad at everybody, won't speak to anybody, and you can't dance. Then who want to be a Christian? Who want to be a Christian? Be a Christian like me. You'd be surprised what religion has done to people. And I'm not advocating to listen to any secular songs or anything like that. What I am advocating is find ways to connect with people. Find ways to connect with people. Last statement. The people that were least like Jesus loved him the most. The people that were least like Jesus loved him the most. The people that were least like Jesus loved him the most. It is the only thing he says in the Bible never fails. It's the only thing. Love never fails. Love never fails. It's not an emotion. It's not emotion. It was so awkward with the family when we first got there. It was awkward. But I'm so glad the favor of God and this girl here, that's Christianity. Man, let's get our families back together, man. That's what he did with us. That's what he did with me. He didn't hold me. He loved me. Had no idea. I'm not telling you to go listen to a bunch of secular songs or anything like that. Don't run out here saying that. What I'm saying is, always remember, you're in the people business. You're in the what? You're in the people business. You're in the what? You want a great company? Study people. Find out what you can bring to the marketplace. Serve the people. Whoever wants to be greatest among you, let's be your servant.